Okay, I've got some of the highlighting done, plus I put a little few details down on the cockpit sills. Now I'm going to do a highlight on the face. Right now he's crimson red, and we're going to take a little bit of flesh color, which of course if you just paint something flesh color it just doesn't look right. So we're going to take the flesh and mix it with just a little bit of crimson to warm it up, since that flesh is just kind of makeup-y looking. Doesn't quite look right. So alright. And we're also going to put a little bit of white in it. Just make it a little more of a contrast. Okay. Now we're going to just use the dry brush technique and just highlight some of the raised areas, making sure not to get in too many crevices. And this also blends in a little bit with the red that's already there. Shouldn't be much of a difference. Now this pilot is also squinting, which is lucky for us. We don't have to worry about putting in any eyeballs. It would be so small you couldn't see them. So, okay. And you can kind of see some of the features. Just a little bit of a highlight there. Now, we'll let that dry for a few seconds here while we make another mix of the next highlight on the face, which we're going to use a lot of white. And a little bit of flesh tone. Just a tiny, tiny bit of that crimson, just to warm it up. Okay. Again, using a dry brush technique. Going across the bridge of the nose. And on the cheek area. A little bit on the brow. Since this is such a small area also, with the mask, the oxygen mask on him, it can be very difficult to try to get those different tones within a small space. But we can also go back in and work it backwards and forwards. Okay. Now, looks a little blotchy at this point. So what we're going to do is take just the flesh tone and get most of it off the brush, and we're going to actually blend the blotches and the dark red just around the edge there. That way it doesn't look like he has too much of a raccoon mask. Plus the flesh tone paint is fairly thin, so you can actually, it won't cover up some of the other colors as much. Now it's starting to look a little more like a real person. And not quite like the character Hellboy on the movie with the red face. Alright, do the neck a little bit here. The neck you want a little bit darker so it looks more like shadow. A little more red. Okay. Now we got some good contrast going. I'm going to take some of the flesh tone and some white and go back in and hit it again. It's all a series of blending and dry brushing and blending and dry brushing. And at this point you gotta be very careful, just very light highlights on the cheeks and the bridge of the nose. Starting to pop them out a little bit. Now, do a real thin wash of the flesh tone. Again, another blending, believe it or not. Okay. And now I'm going to go back in and actually do a blending of that red. Again, this you have to be very careful of. Very careful. But if you get a little too much, you just start over. Got a little too much red on the one side, so we'll go and blend that out with some flesh tone and just working it back and forth. Okay, I got some good shadows. I think I'll do a final highlight with the white. I should be just about finished. A lot of people use oil paints doing this, which is sometimes will blend a little easier, have a little more working time. Okay. Okay. Looking like a real person now. Blend a little on the neck. Okay. Looks a little better than just having it flesh tone. Doesn't look so much like a little doll in your aircraft. Looks like a real person squinting his face, trying to see where the enemy aircraft are. Alrighty, then we'll proceed to the next step, which will do some weathering and tone some of his outfit down.